When I was in 6th grade, my reading teacher made us watch the original 1939 Wizard of Oz at the same time as we listened to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, because the album and the movie famously and eerily sync up. For example, the tornado scene of The Wizard of Oz lines up with Pink Floyd's fast-paced instrumental song, On the Run, and when Dorothy meets a scarecrow with no brain, Pink Floyd is singing The Lunatic is on the Grass. This is one of the more well-known conspiracy theories revolving The Wizard of Oz. A much less known theory is that the entire original Wizard of Oz book, written by Frank Baums in the year 1900, is a veiled critique on a greedy society dictated by money. For example, in the book, instead of ruby shoes, Dorothy wore shoes made of silver as she traveled on a gold-colored road into a cash-green city. For many in the early 1900s, this was an allegory for the relative merits of the silver versus gold standard. However antiquated a metal-based economy may seem, such people do have a point. Although metals are quite illiquid, metals are the most stable, long-term source of wealth. It doesn't have to be gold or silver, either. Glenn Seaborg, caught up in nuclear enthusiasm, suggested plutonium would one day be the most valuable metal due to its nuclear applications. However, ounce by ounce, the current most valuable element among the ones legal to purchase in the United States is rhodium, which is why, to trump a mere platinum record, the Guinness Book of World Records gifted former Beatle, Paul McCartney, a record made of pure rhodium in 1979 to celebrate becoming the best-selling musician of all time. However, if you want to find the most valuable, buyable metal of all time, you must travel back into the 1800s to purchase none other than mere aluminium. A number of capable chemists devoted their lives to aluminium back in the 1800s, and it wasn't clear if element 13 came out better or worse as a consequence. When it was first extracted in 1825, it was immediately classified as a precious metal due to its luster, similar to platinum or silver, worth hundreds of dollars an ounce. When a Frenchman 20 years later found a method of extracting it more efficiently, aluminium suddenly became commercially available, for a hefty price of course. Despite being 8% of the Earth's crust by weight, it was more than 10 times the price of gold. This is because aluminium is never found by itself. It's always bonded to something, usually oxygen, and chemists of the day did not have any way to break the aluminium bonds. Pure samples of aluminium were considered absolute miracles. The French displayed aluminium bars next to their other jewels, and King Napoleon, no the other one, had a special set of aluminium cutleries for prized guests, whereas less favored guests were reduced to eating with gold knives and forks instead. The aluminium craze eventually reached its pinnacle when in 1884, in order to show off its immense wealth, the United States capped the Washington Monument with one 6-pound pyramid of pure aluminium. It is said that 1 ounce of shavings from the pyramid would have paid a day's wage for all of the workers involved with the monument. Aluminium's 60-year reign as the world's most precious metal was glorious, but soon Americans had to ruin everything. The metal's properties, light, strong, attractive, tantalized manufacturers, and its omnipresence in the crust of the earth had the potential to revolutionize metal production, but no one could figure out an efficient way to separate it from oxygen. That's when in 1886, 23-year-old Charles Hall ran an electrical current through water with dissolved aluminium compounds. The electricity liberated the pure aluminium from its bonds, where it sank to the bottom in minute nuggets. The process was cheap, easy, and would work well in giant vats as well. This had been the most sought-after chemical prize up to that point, and Charles had found it at just 23. Charles founded an aluminium production company called Alcoa, where he planned to make his fortune. In Alcoa's first year, it was able to ship out 50 pounds per day, more than enough to crash the aluminium market. Just 2 decades later, it needed to ship out 88,000 pounds per day just to meet demand, and when Charles died in 1914, he owned shares worth $800 million in today's money. Incidentally, I use the international pronunciation, aluminium, instead of the distinctly American aluminum. This of course arises back to Charles Hall. When the element was discovered, it was named aluminium, similar to other recently discovered elements such as barium, magnesium, sodium, and strontium. Charles Hall also used this same spelling when he applied for his patent. However, when advertising, one of his assistants made a spelling mistake. When Charles saw the fortuitous mistake, he thought it a brilliant coinage. He dropped the extra I permanently, and with it an entire syllable, which aligned his metal with the classy platinum. Aluminum caught on so quickly and expanded so rapidly that the pronunciation aluminum was stamped on the psyche of all of America. After all, money talks. Thanks for watching. Bye everybody.
My friend's in there.
Congratulations.